Which one did you say we were doing, Ren?
I think we're doing Sethic Halls.
Okay.
I think that was the one he had quests for. Wait, that's the wrong one.
Sethic Halls. Except for DOC. Yeah, that should be a fun. This should be fun streams.
Two, three, four. Who are we missing?
I got some work stuff. I'm being a little sluggish.
Okay, no worries. I was just waiting. Do a buff.
Yep, just let me know when you guys are ready.
Good to go here.
Oh, he miniatured me. Oh my gosh, he miniatured me again. I didn't know you could be shrunk even smaller.
It would be easier to kill the totem instead of me.
Oh, is that what happened? He just automatically went to you.
Well, I think there's
Yeah,
like charm.
I had AoE cleave up, but it wasn't hitting the totem for some reason.
Yeah, my AoEs don't hit the totems either.
I guess it's easier to kill me then.
I'll just target the totems from now on.
Is there a way to cure my super mini? Hey, what's up, guys?
Well, usually gotta find something that excites you, sir.
I'm a grower, not a shower, I swear. Dude, I'm so little. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I didn't even see Nathan. He's so small.
I know. Look at me.
1 second.
Is this the way we need to go? No, it's not.
That's the way we'll come out.
Okay.
It's too far away.
Turned.
Yeah.
Oh, Nathan too.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
I bubbled.
That was my bad. I guess I had vet stuff. I had to take phone calls. On my way.
Finally back to normal. Turned. Alright. Where you at? You have to target the totems, Richard. Thanks.
Got honored, but we're sitting.
It's too far away. I don't have a target.
Drink a little mana juice here real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a wardrobe malfunction. There's me hammer.
Nice. I've not heard that joke before. All right, everybody ready? Yep.
sorry.
It's alright. Darts.
I've never seen darts this whole time I've played the game. It's the
Mm.
first time I've seen darts.
Yeah,
Yeah, me
they're
too.
pretty common actually.
Huh.
They drop a lot.
One of the quests you have in here, Nathan, is for like, isn't it for like 3 different items? I think you may have to. I think a couple of them are like ground spawn or something. Could be thinking of the wrong dungeon.
Oh, are you thinking of the
I gotta
the
pick
book?
up quill and a mask. I think that's from bosses, though, right?
Yeah, well,
That's my only
one of
other one.
them's from a.
I just finished
Yeah, one of
that
them's a
one.
ground spawn.
Yeah, there's a book in between. I don't remember if it's this one.
Getting close to 70. That's right. Late night grind last night. It's nice. Grats, Richard. Freaking grats, dude. Yeah, how close are you to 70, Renfail, on your mage?
Like 3/4 of the way there with this. So I mean, I'll probably, if I don't get it this morning, I'll get it tomorrow morning or something like that.
Yeah.
Or tonight, because I'll be back tonight playing. Like last night, I tanked 3 dungeons and then I turned it over and let Crinkle tank the Fire Mage. I'll probably do the same again tonight. Try to run 2 or 3 heroics and then turn around and play the mage.
Never done a heroic yet. I'm pretty excited about getting to do stuff like that.
Oh, we're gonna get there. We might not do any here, but we'll definitely be doing it in Wrath.
Yeah.
A decompression run. That's exactly what it was. It's like, I just need to decompress. Get all the tanking out of my system now. I just want to go blow shit up. Honestly, at this point, I'm just, the more I can stream, the better it is, because then I can cut more content together, and I'm going back and I'm analyzing, like, what did Asmongold do when he was first getting going, like doing all his content,
That's still
World of Warcraft, things of that nature. I pushed out another Lotro tourism video this morning, and I got another Lotro. Like, I did a quest yesterday in Lord of the Rings Online that I didn't realize was tied to book lore. And I did the battle, and then I went online to pull links for the video, and I found out that it was actually this huge thing that I didn't know anything about.
Oh, how cool.
But yeah, it was actually really interesting. I was like, well, I'll be damned.
They've announced a new expansion, right? Lord of the Rings Online? I thought I saw an article.
It's like a mini...
Oh.
They do like mini expansions
Like story.
now. It's like updates. Yeah, it's like updates that have new. But they've been going. What they're doing now is they're basically just going back in time and doing like the history of Durin. And so you do session play where you play as like one of the old dwarves from years ago, and they're mining the appendices basically.
That's cool.
It's gonna be really interesting see what happens now that the Embracer Group bought Tolkien Enterprise, or bought Saul's Ants Middle Earth Enterprises, because they're a video game company. Even though they're highly interested in producing lots of television and films now, the big part of their announcement was tons of new Lord of the Rings themed video games are gonna be on the
Yeah.
horizon now. So we're gonna see, you know, way more than before in terms of console games, board games, mobile games, PC games, VR games. Like, it's gonna be fun. Oh, did you see the announcement for Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah.
Watch the ghost.
Tears of the
Watch the
Kingdom.
ghost.
Oh yeah, the ghosts.
Go
Oh
eat your
yeah,
life.
I remember now. They kill you. Yeah. Run from them. I forgot.
Yeah, we'll have to play the Ghostbusters song after you die.
That ability isn't ready yet.
Oh, it's totally my turn for the Frozen Iceman animation. Vroom vroom. What if that lasts until I do another ice tomb? Ice block, whatever it's called.
Somehow I've got this status effect. I haven't figured out what it does or where I got it, but it's called Haunted. Anybody know anything about that?
That spell.
I've had
Which one is it?
I've had it for a few days. It's like a debuff, maybe? I don't know what it does, but it's called Haunted. It just says, something is with you.
It's from the quest where you have to take the torch to Stormwind.
Oh, I do have a quest in Stormwind. Okay, cool.
You should be getting whispers like, your friends will hate you.
Yeah, I have seen a couple weird stuff like that, yeah.
He's just used to that.
Yeah, it was like, oh, the voices in my head again. Just ignore it. Cringe ponies off the air. Come on now.
Just another day.
One of the reasons I was asking all those questions earlier with you and Sparrow, Nathan, is because I'm genuinely curious, because I constantly see people talk about how they loved Wrath, but then in the same token, they will then complain about all these things that they don't like about World of Warcraft. So I'm always, because I never played it, so I
Yeah.
don't have that. I don't have that negativity of, well, this got changed and that got changed and this got changed and that got changed.
Yeah.
Because I always hear this, oh, this was awesome, this was the best thing ever, etc., etc., etc. Well,
Yeah.
what changed? Because
I'll tell you, there's the easiest way to get the answer is one day when you got some free time, since you pay for the subscription anyway, log into retail. It won't take long and you'll be like, oh, I see.
well, I mean, I get some of those changes, but the thing that always resonates with me, even though like what we were talking about earlier, even though they may have made those changes for analytical reasons,
Sure.
not, the fact is there are still well, in this case, hundreds of millions of people who have purchased, played, and loved some component of the game at some point in time, and that wouldn't have happened if they made a bad game, which means the changes they made, even if they didn't resonate with everybody, were still good changes for the game.
And the thing is with retail is it takes a couple expansions to actually figure out all the bloat.
Yeah.
And the big issue with retail is they keep making game mechanics that nobody wants. At the end of the day, there's just too much going on that nobody asked for or wants. But like, Legion was awesome.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
BFA was a disaster. First part of Shadowlands was awesome. But if you play retail, it takes a couple expansions, and then you're just like, yeah. And they keep implementing systems that don't work. Ultimately, that's what a lot of people have issues with.
Well, hang on though, and I'm gonna push a button here, so bear with me. A lot of people, I hear people use that phrase a lot. A lot of people. But World of Warcraft still has millions.
Yeah, but
of players.
Asmongold explained this. Some people just can't walk away. They don't know where else to go. So, like, they
Yeah.
log on, they do their daily, they don't have fun, but they just hope that, please, Blizzard, fix it. You know, like, we love the game. We have so many good memories here. I've played this character for freaking, 15 years, etc. So I feel obligated to continue playing because I don't know where else to go. And they do try to go play. They go to play Final Fantasy 14. They go play, and they don't get the same feeling from it because they don't have that time investment in it.
And that's true. And believe it or not, I mean, retail WoW has lost 60% of their player base.
Yeah, it's
easy.
Look at the new stats of like raid content, how many people are actually even trying it, etc. It has dropped off. Like, dude, it's nuts.
I do agree with all of that. However, the one thing I always come back to on the numbers thing is that every game loses those numbers when it first comes out.
They have retention.
But they have 20-some years of
sure,
and it's never been like this ever.
Right.
This is the ultimate low it's ever been.
And where that information comes from, it comes from raiding guilds a lot.
Yeah.
And people doing high-end content, they just, the amount of bloat and mechanics they throw in that nobody really wants, this comes from, and Preach had a really good thing on it before he stopped playing WoW. If you ever watched Preach.
Yeah, Preach is good.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
I'm a virgin to World of Warcraft, so I'm genuinely curious about all this stuff.
Yeah, you can go back and look at some of his stuff. He's really well read. He's been playing. He played WoW for the whole lifetime of the game, and at a very high level, his guild did. And he has a lot of great commentary in it, and it explains stuff really well.
Yeah, and what I like about those people like Preach and and others is that like they're not riding the hate train because when Blizzard does good things, they're the first ones to be like, "This is good."
No, he loved the game.
Yeah,
absolutely, he loved it. He was heartbroken when it.
Yeah.
Ultimately he had to leave. And,
there's a lot of noise from the smaller content creators, I would say, of WoW, but those main ones, I can't. What's his name? Not Balasar. Can't think of his name, but I actually watch him a lot too. And they're just really pushing to get WoW back on track. And honestly, I'm sheeped. It appears as though with Dragonflight they're gonna maybe. You never know. I think they may pull it off this time. But will they stick with it, or will they continue back with their regular routine? Is the real question.
And they still have WoW, even retail, still has a ton of players that play it.
Yeah.
But from where it was, it's definitely not the king of kings anymore, by a long shot. Now Classic's doing quite well, because, it's a throwback to the old days.
Yeah, especially with the Wrath, it's blowing the heck up. I just saw a bunch of... I didn't watch any, but I see a bunch of videos showing up on my feed saying stuff like, Wrath of Lich King is saving World of Warcraft. There's a bunch of talk like that.
It's true. Look at the queue times on some of those servers.
And they have learned some things from Classic, right? So, like, they redid the new player starting experience in retail. They squished the levels down. I mean, they're learning some... It's not like nothing's gotten better. I think that they're attempting. I think also it's worth noting that nobody is in the same position World of Warcraft is and never has been. So, it is more difficult for Blizzard to solve these mega problems that honestly probably just come with being this old and having this many expansions and still being this popular. As opposed to like Final Fantasy 14. Like, it's a little easier for them.
Yeah, and Activision
And
how
Activision,
play with
yeah,
the downfall of a lot of systems.
that's a
and
really good
everything's-
point. Yep. Because like Square Enix don't have to worry about nothing like that. Like Square Enix is the boss. Final Fantasy 14 is their cash cow. What Yoshi P says goes. They're in a different culture too, where if Yoshi P says we need this in our game, okay, let's do it then. You know, how much money does it cost? Whereas Blizzard has to like answer all this stupid investor crap.
Yeah, Activision's more of the bottom line. They're just looking for the monetary gain, really.
Yeah.
You got time for one more, Nathan, or is that? I don't know how much time you
Yeah, I've got time. If you guys do. See if I got an upgrade here.
But you know, I've always come back to this game. I play the old school MMOs, and Classic seems to be in my rotation. I haven't played retail in about 3 years. I did play pretty heavy for a long time, but
Cool. Yeah, what do you guys want to do now? What's so join a
whichever
new
one
class
you guys
service
want.
starts vanilla? Is that something planned in the future?
I've seen if Maduros can come here.
Once a year,
We can
yes,
do
Grain.
one
They do
real
a
quick.
classic server, but it
It's got
stays classic forever. They just did new
We could definitely
fresh
do one in
start
40
servers
minutes.
that are gonna
These
be.
pretty quick.
They're gonna have wrath.
yeah, that was shit.
If
That
that
was like
makes
25
sense.
minutes, right? This
Yeah.
last one.
But they also do like the TLP style, like
What's the
EverQuest
next
does once a
rotation
year,
here? Is
with
it
like some new
Labyrinth?
rule sets to make it more hardcore, etc. Or it appears that's how they're gonna do. There's only been 1 year of that, but we assume they'll
Yeah, looks
they'll
like
do
there's
it again.
quests for it too.
At least I do. Yeah, the Seasons of Mastery. Yes,
You
exactly.
were supposed to
Richard.
speak Elvish and open
Once
that.
a year, I can see them doing that. Yep.
Melon.
Holly Longdale's on the team, and that's what she does. So, highly likely.
Let me ping him on Discord.
I'm gonna top my coffee off real quick. Be right back.
Yeah.
How long does Crinkled have? Did he say about 40 minutes?
About 40 minutes.
Yeah. While he's grabbing coffee, I'm gonna take a potty break. I'll be right back. Be right back, guys. Don't go nowhere. I'll be back. We're gonna run another dungeon. I'll be back in just a second. I'm back. Very true, Eva.
actually have 2 quests in here.
Oh, 3 pallies.
Wow.
Pally power.
It's supposed to be 3 Death Knights at this particular point.
I like
I'll
that
run
with
Shadow
my group
Resist.
He was telling me that, he was saying the other day that like all the groups right now, it's like 4 Death Knights and a healer, 4 Death Knights and a
Yeah.
healer, 3 Death Knights, a healer, and a tank, 4 Death Knights and a healer, 3 Death
It's
Knights, a tank,
true.
and a hunter.
Looks like I don't need to line of sight him.
Yeah, but we got one of each pally, so it works out.
That spell is ready.
I'm just passing on everything, so.
No.
I am using Hydra UI. I love it too.
It's too far away.
On line of sight this guy over here. Maybe. Is he coming?
Oh, they warped.
Oh.
That's still recharging. That spell. I can't help.
Them big beefy shoulders there, Matt.
Heck yeah, dude.
Cloth shoulders.
It's a lot of cotton they use to stuff those, I think.
Yeah, right.
Poke your eye out, kid.
How many kids are missing their teddy bears because they had to make these shoulders?
Careful with those big guys, Nathan. They will fear us into all the rest of the packs.
Okay, I heard that. Try to grab one and pull him back then. I'll get a little. There we go. Oh, I pulled all them too. I'm gonna pull them all the way back here. Oh, he feared me immediately.
Try to get a cleanse on sooner, but was a little late.
Oh, really? Gosh.
Can't wait to see what the dungeons are like in Wrath.
Some are pretty awesome. Some suck.
Oh, really? There's some that suck. Is it just because you've done them too many times, or you didn't like them from the beginning?
You'll find people don't like the Oculus. Half of it's been riding around on a Drake.
Oh, okay. I've heard people talk about that one, yeah.
Violet Hold is usually one that people don't like going to. The bosses are random.
Their loot tables random with them too, or I mean, like,
Not on the bosses, but the bosses themselves are random. It's a jailbreak kind of event.
okay. Richard says so many tanks skip Oculus.
We're not skipping shit, bro.
Well, they say it's better with a real group like us as opposed to pugging.
That is one benefit we have. There
Yeah.
shall be no pugs.
Let's go pull these stupid mages around.
Well, so there isn't gonna, since there isn't gonna be the dungeon finder, people get stuck with it.
Good point. Yeah,
I mean, not
They
that they'll
won't.
get stuck, but they'll just not even go there.
yeah, they're just
Yeah,
avoid
let's
it.
ignore it. What does that mean, mana up? Like, I'm not understanding.
Was that what?
I'm reading chat. I really dislike being told to mana up.
They don't like the term, or they just don't like to be told that they need to drink?
That's what I'm asking. I'm
Yeah.
curious. What does that mean?
Probably their bar's too low.
Yeah, they need to drink. It's kind of a weird way of saying it.
I think a lot of people are, Davin. Davin is my chat saying he's gonna miss the dungeon finder in Wrath.
Yeah, there's a large community of people who are wanting it. It didn't come at the beginning of Wrath, you know, it was towards the end, so some people say that they think it should be just like that again. I understand their sentiment. I wouldn't cry if it was added, but, you know, I get what they're trying to say. They think that that was one of the small things that hurt the socialization of the game.
Sorry, didn't mean to rip aggro.
It's okay, I'm trying to get him back.
Well, now Sparrow had said that earlier too. That when she was talking about the matchmaker that pulls in people from all communities. I know Maduros has had a very positive experience with it. I've had a positive experience with it. I think that the negative I always hear people claim about the matchmaker is that, well, there's no community. You never talk to people.
It is better
ruins
without it, though. Like, here's the
Right.
deal. They have a really good looking for group tool. It's kind of the same thing, except for it keeps it on the server. It's really
There
the
you go.
only thing.
What I'm getting at, though, is all of those things that people claim is just people. If people want it to be social, it's really easy to type in group and
Sure.
say, "Hey guys, how you doing today?"
Sure.
Don't blame that on the group finder. Like that's
Yeah,
it's not.
there's so many.
I need a quest over here.
There's so many socially awkward people these days that I think just having a tool to help them find a group, but they don't want it to be like so random that it can cross servers, right? So
Yeah, I've found that every group finder I've been in, I mean, most of the time the groups are talking. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? We're saying hello.
Yeah, I do, and
through-
I do get the cross-platform, the cross-server thing, because that means, you know, if you do find a really cool group of people, and you're not on their server, that does suck. Like,
yeah,
you know,
And Deckhand has found and made friends with so many people. He's a little
yeah. What's
social
up, Scott?
butterfly,
Yeah, you got
man.
gifted
Yeah.
that. I think towards the end of last week. I think during the EverQuest stream.
I don't.
But maybe
I don't,
I'm wrong. But
I
yeah,
don't buy
you sure
into
did, man.
the whole component. Of,
I think
oh, it
what's the
ruins
takeaway? For,
socialization.
my memory may be wrong, but I think
Well,
what's the
you got-
takeaway
you have to
gifted?
make
I don't think it
So-
helped.
I know he did. I
Yeah.
think you were one of the ones that
It's a-
got
it's
his,
a-
if I'm not mistaken.
Double-edged sword, really.
Well, I
Also,
think this is going to come up on the upcoming podcast because this was brought up. People like to
Cantan
claim that
gifted
dungeon
some too,
finders
so it
ruin
came from one of those two.
socializations, but what about Discord? Discord's ruins socialization because no one types it.
yeah,
I see people
I've heard
talking
that
all the time,
argument.
like,
Yep.
no one types anymore in group chat, and therefore socialization is ruined. It's like, no, it's just that socialization
boy.
moved to what we're doing right now, which is chatting. If you
Yep.
choose to not be a part of that, that's a you problem, not a game problem.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You are actually right. You can be social in retail WoW if you wanted to. You just got to
Absolutely.
find a guild. You've got to, you know, you got to put forth an effort. And I think that for a lot of people, that effort is we're just different than some people, you know. And it's hard for me to understand their point of view because I'm not socially awkward at all.
Right.
But
Yeah, nobody really wants to go back to trying to type in raids or
Fuck
hardcore
no.
dungeons. It's just, yeah. I'm
yeah,
not doing it.
dude, screw typing. Like, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
I also
it's-
don't want to sit there and be like looking for group for. Not that this ever happened to me because I was always a social person. But I have no desire to be like looking for group for 45 minutes if I can just plug myself in and in 5 minutes I've got a group. You know, like I've actually been thinking about doing a social experiment as a video series, which is to go into
thanks for the sub.
like Star Wars Republic or Retail WoW or another game that uses a dungeon
Yeah, I
finder.
agree with the Discord's easy.
And the objective being to just find a guild. Just go in, no
It's not that hard, dude.
forums.
It's
no
really not.
forums.
Yeah.
You should do
It's-
it just to show, and you should do it in multiple
Just to
games,
prove.
just to prove it wasn't an accident that it happened one time. Because it really isn't
Yes.
that hard. But I think that for some people, and it's once again, it's just one of those things where I just have to believe it because I don't have that problem. You know what I mean? But
And you know what? Even in the group finder, I find that if you're social enough, even the most unsocial people, you'll break them loose a little bit.
Yeah.
Start chatting and having a good time and be social.
yeah,
They'll loosen up.
They'll
They
loosen
do.
up, yep.
They really do.
it is true. I think the problem is also things are so fast. Like in retail, you might be in the dungeon for, I'm making it up because I really don't know. I don't play a lot of retail, but like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that for a standard, typical, quick dungeon run. And it's just not enough time. So people are just, you know what I mean? They're rushing through it. They've done it 100 times. They
Yeah,
don't.
they do a lot of speed runs.
Yeah, they just don't care.
sure.
You know, they don't. They only got time for that.
I definitely saw, like, when I tried Final Fantasy 14 before they introduced the changes to the cutscenes, like a couple
Sure.
years back.
Sure.
When I first tried it, I had a negative experience because
Yeah.
people didn't want to wait for me. So I would be watching the cutscene as a new player, and I would finish the cutscene, and all of a sudden, where's the group? Like, the group is like already 20 mobs deep because they didn't wait for me to finish the cutscene, and that, you know, led to some people grumbling about, oh, hurry up, you know, why is there a noob in the group, kind of stuff. But I always look at that and say, everyone's had negative experiences in an MMO, but I choose not to let those negative experiences define my 25 years of gameplay.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot, man. Like, you're gonna have negative experiences in the best community in the world. There's, you know, like, there's no way to, like, weed out.
I mean, if people do that in SWTOR too, Ren, right?
Yeah.
The cutscenes. I mean, they want you to, if you've never seen it before, to take a friend through it. They want you to just skip.
I do appreciate Final Fantasy though being like, hey, new players are not having a good time in these dungeons. They want to see what's going on. They miss the boss is dead, you know, before they can even hit escape. You know, they want to see the story. You know, like, this is a story heavy game, and so they just made it to where it's like, hey, if somebody's watching a cutscene, sorry guys, you gotta wait. Like, you're stuck. You wait for them.
And that's why I just, especially when it comes to, like, Pantheon, like, I hear people constantly talking about how they don't want these things in Pantheon because it ruins the game for them. And I'm like, did it really ruin the game for you?
They don't want what things?
Or
I'm sorry, my brain got
little
twisted.
things.
Okay.
Little things like, oh,
Lifeline.
like the dungeon finder
Oh,
is gonna.
sure.
If they put a dungeon finder in Pantheon, it's gonna ruin the game for me. Really?
Well, they can't really do a dungeon finder in Pantheon though, because
Why?
it's not instance dungeons. So they are going to have a looking for group tool, and to be honest, we'll see how it goes. But based on what I've read and watched other people talk about in the beta, they might want to take some ideas from the classic looking for group tool coming. Sounds like it's pretty freaking good.
I mean, instead of dungeons, why not just be looking for group in zone?
Yeah, that's what it'll be. Yeah, something like that anyway. Yeah, and some people won't like that. You know, no matter
Well, that's
what
the thing.
you do, you know.
I'm always confused when people make these drastic comments like, "This thing ruined the game for me," and I'm gonna hate Pantheon if you put it in. And I'm never. I always feel like those people are. How are you letting in one little thing define your entire game experience? It's a good game.
With that, yeah.
Can you imagine being the developers having to keep? I mean, that group is the hardest MMO group to make happy there is. They've been playing the same MMO for 20 years, 25 years. Man, no thanks. I would literally
Yeah.
rip
That's the
my own
problem.
hair
Though.
out.
You can't stay in the past. You have to move forward a little
Yeah,
bit.
and they are. Pantheon is. It's moving forward. It's taking what they've learned from EverQuest, what was learned from Vanguard, etc. They're even factoring in WoW Classic. They talk about it all the time, and they're just saying, what would have happened though if the MMO genre would have evolved where public dungeons was still cool, where, you know, sure, maybe the raid bosses need to be instance because that just sucks for everybody if we don't. But they're just taking a new approach. Like, what if everybody didn't just copy WoW? You know, what would have happened? You know, not to say WoW didn't do some good things, and obviously I've heard Joppa and Brad McQuaid and everybody mention WoW Classic as a good meter of, like, there was a lot of really good stuff, you know. But there will be the P99, and I'm only picking on them. I love P99. We played every Friday. I'm a big fan. I think it's a lot of fun. But that crowd, I don't think they're going to like Pantheon. It's just, it is a modern game, you know?
Well, I hear a lot of people in the Pantheon Plus community make those types of
I
comments.
do too.
about
I argue
WoW.
with them about it too, and I'll point out times where the
I'm
developers
controlled.
have argued the opposite, you know?
You know?
Come on, Nathan.
Oh, I'm hurt. I can't do it. I can't do my lay on hands. Come on, let me back.
We were both beating on him.
He's got me stunned.
It's amazing.
Silenced. Okay. Woo. Alright, let me see if I can get him back.
He
now.
popped all sorts of my abilities while I was mind controlled. What a bastard. Oh.
Oh my god.
He's on the loose. He's on the loose. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was holding off till you grab thread again.
Oh, he knocked back. this guy's a beast, man. Jeez.
Well, it's partly the
That
level
was
thing
fun.
and the gear thing, but
Yeah.
once you're level 70, you won't have that issue really.
Ooh.
It was fun though.
Oh my god.
The Wand of Netherwing.
You know, it's funny. I was checking around for gear upgrades for Holy Pally.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every piece, it's recommended to get the PvP gear.
Yeah, I have a lot of that too.
Congrats, Sparrow.
That gear is really strong right now.
We had a few months to go before Wrath. I'd probably do it, but
Yeah, because I've been saying like really 73, 74, you're going to replace everything
Everything.
up until even Sunwell gear is going to be questionable.
There's also the opposite of what you talked about, Renfail, too, and I never hear anybody ever talk about it, where, I hate to say this because this is going to upset some people, but, like, it is true. If you search yourself, you'll know this to be true. There's also the people in the Pantheon community that everything's bad until Pantheon does it, and then it's good.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, I hate that, and then Pantheon says they're going to do it. They're like, I love that. That's one that cracks me up.
So can I get a King's?
Absolutely.
I forgot to spend my points.
I'm a little sad that Sparrow
Giving
didn't
me
let
my-
Bounty cut her hair, but she's done now.
What now?
So I'm a little sad that she didn't just let Bounty Code cut her hair. That could have been good content.
That's easy. You put it in a ponytail, you cut the ponytail off. Done.
That may or may
Yeah.
not have,
Donate it.
that may or
for
may not
love.
have happened.
What could go wrong?
One time,
Uh-oh.
Chris and I were flying to the United States for a trip, one of our big, stay up at the ranch for 4 or 5 months. And I can't sleep on planes, and we had like a 3:30 in the morning wake up, so I took a bunch of Valerian route at like 9 p.m. to just like crash out. And she wakes me up at like 11:30 at night. Can you please cut my hair? And I'd cut her hair before in the past, no problems. I was so out of it and sleepy that I literally just grabbed it and like did the loose ponytail with one hand and the scissors straight across with the other hand, and then proceeded to wake up very quickly after that as she started screaming at me because I had just whacked like 4 inches more than she wanted me to cut off, and I had whacked it off with in a ponytail, which is like so bad.
you're still married?
Yeah.
It's a strong.
My
You
wife
guys
is
got a
very
strong
gracious.
relationship.
And
That's
she
what
even
that means.
feeds him on a regular basis. You know it's bad when they stop feeding you. Then you have an issue.
That's how you know, yeah. That's how my wife
She was-
lets me know she's mad. She'll come home with food, and I will have none. I'm like, oh well, she's pissed. I'm just gonna sleep on the couch. I'm not even gonna ask any questions.
I feed myself.
Yeah. Yep, she stops cooking, then you go, something's not right.
For me to be laundry.
Right? Yeah.
I must be spoiled.
Hey, Kesha's paintings can make him cry. Oh boy.
I don't think there's too many things that she would cut me off from. The only thing that she's really is like tequila is the one she cuts me off from once in a while. She's like, you've been.
We did
Drinking more
get
than
some,
a
and she
couple
never.
glasses at
We
night.
got the stuff to make them, and she never even made them. I don't
Alright.
think. Unless they made them real quick.
Living
while
in
I
the
was training
boonies, man.
them.
What else you got
That's
to do?
possible.
Right? Grilling good food,
My favorite.
drinking tequila.
My favorite was when we were dating. She didn't realize that I was a weed smoker, and then it was an item of discussion when we started living together, and to prove a point, I quit smoking for a couple of years to prove that there's nothing, addictive about it. Eventually, that point was made, and I was allowed to go back to smoking. And the funniest thing was the way I got back into it was I was like, well, I just, got a friend, we both knew the friend, and it was like she was offering me some. I was like, let's just be something to relax on a Sunday afternoon, And so I was like, okay. Well, that Sunday afternoon turned into, well, now I'm waking and baking every morning, and then I'm topping off at like 9 a.m. and then I'm topping off at 1 p.m. She's like, I thought you said it was just Sunday mornings. It's like every morning's a Sunday morning, honey.
Yeah.
420 somewhere.
Or it is 420.
I don't know this stuff nowadays is so strong. I mean, I smoked in high school in the 80s, and I have friends that do it now, and I'm on a DOT dig list, so I can't really. I get drug tested, but oh my god, it's so strong now. It's ridiculous.
I like that because it lasts longer.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, did I pull the boss?
I mean, I can just stand in the room and get wrecked.
Get a little mana real quick.
Okay.
Is there a way to pull the little group over there to the left?
No path
Oh,
around.
they're pathing. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good question about... I honestly think that based on them now being like, we're going to make some changes to make things
I think
classic.
they'll keep going.
I think they'll keep going, and they're just going to change things that they think will make it better. Yeah, and I think that's just the way it's going to be now. And it'll be
Which
interesting
honestly for
to
me
see.
it's gonna be fine for me because we've got another 4 or 5 years until Panthan gets here. So
Yeah. Now, I'd like to say before I make this comment that even though I make jokes about this, I don't actually care about this particular thing, but I know a lot of people do. What if they got to Mists of Pandaria and they didn't add pandas? Because that was overall people hated it. So like that would be hilarious.
And Mist was actually a good expansion.
The quests
People
were really fun for one thing.
They didn't like the pandas, but Mist as a whole was a really good.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
it added that card
the raids
game too,
are really
right?
good too.
Yep, the raids, the quest, everything, and people just had an issue with the pandas. So.
Or I say card game. It's
You've
the
got
pet
a lot
collection,
of
so it's
lore.
fun.
You go back to what's his guts? It's up in that little library.
Yeah.
Cho.
Yeah, Cho. And pandas need love too, so it is what it is.
And you pick a book off the wall and it starts a quest. It's a big lore dump quest. And there's like 10 of them, and there's an achievement to do them all.
Yeah, that expansion as a whole was good.
So you have to move them away from the Void Walkers, right?
Yep. Yeah, you get a little bit of that AoE splash damage.
Oh, whoa.
Read on if you dare.
So just go back and forth forever. Tetsu says, they're going to try to go for Cataclysm. That's going to bomb because everyone wanted Wrath. And it ends there with most of the population on Wrath servers. Yeah, how do you guys feel about that?
what's the question? Or what was the statement?
Is it like they'll continue on with Cataclysm, but that'll be the end of Classic being popular? What do you guys
I mean, it might be, but here's the reality: if they're still pulling in 2 to 3 million subs,
think? Yeah, they're fine.
they're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? They're keeping employees employed, and
Yeah, they should.
But is Cataclysm technically classic? Because the world changes so much, right?
Yeah, that's
So
what
you're-
what makes it weird. Or do they just change the rules and make it
Yeah, maybe.
make
Because
it
at
still
that
feel
point,
classic?
it's not really classic. The continents change, right, and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Cataclysm is the beginning of a new story arc.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Wrath
weird
is the
to.
end.
You're right. It's weird to call that classic because you changed the world.
It changes.
How's
so
that classic? You know, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird. It's gonna be weird. I don't know. But I think they will. I do actually think they're gonna continue on. And do you leave? Because that's their other things. They want to split the communities up. Do you leave Wrath servers?
And technically, Cataclysm, by people's definition, was their least favorite expansion for a lot of people.
Their
if I had to
least
guess,
favorite.
what they would end up doing is they would leave all classic servers at Wrath of the Lich King, and then have the branch off be Cataclysm, kind of like the way it is now. Wrath is the branch off, but they're
didn't know
keeping
that open.
classic servers, some vanilla servers open. Only the TBC servers switched to Wrath of the Lich
Yeah,
King. I would
yeah.
anticipate that's how they would do it for Cataclysm.
what it
is
seems
everything that's a quote-unquote classic would remain on Wrath of the Lich King, and then the new servers would go to Cata.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
it
That
go.
actually does make a lot of sense. You're keeping the majority
Mind
people
controlled.
happy.
Healer's mind controlled.
Okay, I heard that. Stunned.
You really need to make that mouse over cleanse purge macro. That thing's really handy.
I love it in EQ2. It's just built in. You just somebody's got a thing on them, you just click it.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Yeah, you gotta make a macro for it, or get an add-on, or both, whatever.
I think that charm
Need
was
mana?
actually channeled.
Do you want to get mana first, Maduros?
Yep,
Okay.
many mana after a rest.
Oh, sorry, shit. Had to bend the shoulders.
My least favorite expansion actually is Warlords of Draenor.
Yeah, WAD. Yep, that was a.
That was garbage.
Yep.
The raids were good, but that was about it. Like everybody up until that point was like they wanted housing, and what did they do?
Yeah. That was a disappointment. I was excited about that.
They gave garrisons.
I
Like a
wasn't
half-baked
a
attempt.
fan of that. Yeah, I agree, man. I didn't really care for the garrison. I mean, I don't know. To each their own, I guess, really. Oh, congrats.
Oh, somebody's 70 on their mage.
Oh yeah, that happened
Oh,
like back
nice.
at the spy turn in. That was a while ago. Thank you.
I was Nathan, yeah.
Yeah, I leveled up 67.
Oh, great.
Oh,
I'm out of range.
Can I pull them, or is it gonna do the whole?
You're
giant.
good.
You can pull.
Yeah, the boss is separate.
Okay.
Yep. Now I just gotta get the hunter.
I can't do
So when he does his
Thanks, Phil.
AoE, Nathan, it goes to the center of that little raised ring. So if you run outside of that, you're good.
Okay, so I should pull them near it
Well, he
so I
won't.
can get out
He won't
quicker.
move.
He's static, but
Oh,
when
gotcha.
the
Okay.
time comes, if you run to right here, you're safe.
Does he do any? Do I need to turn him away from the group, or does that matter in this fight?
Nah.
It doesn't. Okay, I'm just gonna fight him head on then. That way.
Yeah, it's just the one AOE, and you'll notice like Sonic Boom, I think is what it's called, and it'll start doing like a blue flashy thing, like an AOE point blank, and you just run out of range, and you'll
Just get out of this little barrier right here. and you're
Sonic
fine.
Boom.
Sonic.
And he does bark people, and they go up in here. But otherwise,
Okay.
yeah. If you get marked, stay away from others.
Oh, jeez, it's hard.
There it is.
I didn't make it.
I'm silenced.
That's better.
You some bitch.
Isn't ready.
You doing it again?
Oh my god.
Dang it. Alright.
That's better. Isn't ready. That's still
Use my lay on hand. Oh my gosh.
Robe of Oblivion.
Oh, you got double rope.
Alright,
One
that
is
one's a
a,
healer robe. The Oblivion's a caster.
One's the necro, the
That's-
Oblivion's necro. Or not necro.
Are there
Warlock.
Warlock.
Warlock? I mean, the set's Warlock, but
Killed the world
Yeah,
more
no,
than
the stats are
Grim
good.
Thunder. Oh,
Yeah,
housing
sure.
can do that too. That is a problem with housing, in my
what's
opinion.
up, Chris?
I think it did that for
So
They're
everybody
both
too,
like
as
a
well.
40% upgrade.
They just will change. I won't. It's hard to say, but I won't.
That's
We
a
won't
big
be.
upgrade.
I'll have a little bit more freedom on what I stream in the morning.
Ooh, they even look cool too.
Yeah, so I don't know, Grain, but it will change the schedule of streaming for sure.
Well, now I'm matching at least.
Yeah.
Let's see. No, not too shabby.
Need to find something to slot in these pants and that robe. Oh, that was everybody.
Yeah, he just looks so beefy mad.
Exorcist. What does that help with, Richard? What were you referring to? Sad no more zombie plague in cities. Yeah, they ended that too soon. Does anybody know why they did that? Why they ended the zombie plague event so quickly? Was that an accident? Because I saw they put out an official explanation was that over 15 years Azerothian medicine has come so far. But
I think it's because people was complaining so much.
they're complaining.
Well, the official post is that they had similar issues with events in Classic.
Mm.
Basically, they're running on a newer version. So, like when Wrath first came out, they were on pre-patch was 3.0.
Mm.
We're on 3.4.
Right.
So that caused some issues with the 15-year-old event that caused it to end early. But then they decided to just leave it ended early because people were complaining.
Nice. I'll look into that, Richard. That's what he was talking about earlier.
I know a lot of people were upset that they couldn't progress their characters.
Yeah, and Auction House they were getting
Auction
slaughtered,
houses
and
stuff.
it was cool though. But I get it. I guess. I thought
I
the
would like to-
explanation was funny.
Graham had a question I want to answer real quick, Nathan. What's the plan for streams after 70? Well, once we're at 70, which still a little bit there for the static group characters. There's heroic dungeons and quests and gear
Sure.
grinds. But Wrath is literally 2 weeks away.
Yeah, it's almost time
not
for
like,
Wrath. Yeah.
those static group characters aren't going to be 70. They maybe get there by the end of the week, but more than likely it's going to be next mid to end of next week before everybody's 70, and then a few days after that, Wrath launches.
Yeah.
So
It'll change my routine for streaming, but
right.
But I am maining this game, so
Oh, yeah.
I'll be streaming it a lot. But it'll change my schedule. Like, some mornings I may not stream WoW in the morning. I may stream Vanguard. I may stream Dark Age because I'm starting that this weekend. It'll change up a bit, but the majority of my content now live will be WoW Classic. I mean, I love it, dude. And I'm telling you, like, I am a old school fanatic. I consider this old school. How long ago did this come out again?
2010.
2010. So it's been
12
years. So
Well, Classic came out in 04, but Wrath dropped in
Wrath,
10.
that's what I meant. Yeah. I considered this old school, and I didn't until I started playing it. Now I do. It does have the good feels if you like old school games. I mean, Renfail's about as old school as it comes for MMOs, to be honest. Like, every game Renfail likes is an old school MMO. And he's fallen in love too, so I know I'm not crazy. I might just think I was crazy if I didn't have Renfail also feeling the same way.
I listened to the rhetoric of people for 20 plus years, throughout all these other games that I've played. EverQuest 1, EverQuest 2, Star Wars: Old Republic, the Stargate Alpha, Lord of the Rings Online, and all I've ever heard is that World of Warcraft is full of toxic assholes. World of Warcraft sucks. World of Warcraft is easy mode. World of Warcraft is this, that, and the other. 100%. All I ever heard from the community that I've played with has been negative. So I've never really been that interested, because even though there were all these people playing, the people that and again, you are the people you surround yourself with, confirmation bias, all of that stuff, I very much bought into that mentality. Well, World of Warcraft Classic World of Warcraft must suck because all the people in my community and circle of friends are saying it sucks. Then I tried it, and they're all fucking liars.
or they're just not playing it in a way that is sustainable for themselves, right?
Or they've allowed one little negative aspect to define their entire MMORPG career, and that's something that doesn't affect me. I don't have that issue, that problem.
But what's weird to me about that point of view is I've had a lot of negative experiences in EverQuest too, but it didn't detract me.
I've had way more negative experiences in EverQuest.
Yeah.
And yet I still love EverQuest.
I still love it, yeah.
It's like, it's like everyone wants to talk about, like, oh, so many people, ninja looters were a problem in EverQuest. No, they weren't. In 7 years of EverQuest, I was ninja looted one time. Yet if you go to a forum or if you go to Reddit, all anyone wants to talk about is how, when it comes to player reputation, it's because of ninja looters. We need to be able to make ninja looters be punished for their crimes. It's like, one time in 7 years did that happen to me. It did never happen to any of my friends at all, just to me, one time. Never happened to any of our guilds. And once they introduced a loot system by which you could do need before greed and click a button and roll a loot for yourself, that went out the window. And then the other one was, kill stealers, people who kill stealed. Again, 7 years. That happened one time in 7 years. It never happened again to me. It's like the two main things that people talk about, like horrible things in EverQuest 1, I had it happen a couple of times. Camp stealing, that was definitely something. But honestly, that's the reason why games moved to phasing, to instancing, and every single MMORPG on the face of the planet got rid of the camp policy being a part of the terms of service and officially said there are no longer camps, because it's a customer service nightmare to try to define who was there first, who pulled first. Now we got to go through the logs, who actually landed the first blow, who did this, and they moved it to a system of, instead of he who tags it or he who does the most pointed damage, everyone gets credit. Now there's no more fighting, there's no more issues, there's no more customer service support needed because everyone gets credit for things. So all of these things that people talk about, I did see some of those things in EverQuest, but I played EverQuest so many years. Yeah, I had negative experiences, but I still think that I had a lot of fun in EverQuest, and I don't let those handful of things define my existence. That's the issue I have when I hear people getting up in arms about how they had all these negative experiences. And the other one was people who say that I had to wait 3 hours to find a group. Then you weren't trying hard enough. Like forums, if you never heard of them.
Yeah, it can be done. Like I say, there's not a single MMO you can't have a social experience in. Problem is how far away from the game do you have to go to get it? You know what I mean? I think that's more the problem. I think the Classic is trying to solve that. That's what made me decide, okay, I'm definitely going to be playing Wrath then. Was the LFG's tool versus the looking for dungeon, because I do believe in that. I know that you kind of don't, Renfail, but I do, because me and my wife we met hundreds of people in 14, and I fell in love with that game. And as soon as they introduced, because I wasn't here when they introduced it in WoW, but as soon as they introduced the cross-server looking for dungeon tool, we maybe made a handful of friends the years later, comparative to, like, dude, we were just, shouting out, looking for people to join, looking for DPS, looking for this and that. And we met so many people, and we'd do the same dungeons over and over. And then we go do world content together, et cetera, et cetera. Then we join guilds together. And it was like, dude, we met so many people. It's nuts. And those same people we met during that time is who we played with for the rest of the time we played the game. But we didn't make... It was just like, you queue for a dungeon, man, and they're on different servers. And it's just like... And in 14, people are generally super nice. And you say hello, and... good job, and you give everybody the commendations at the end, etc. But, like, dude, the bond and, like, meeting people died with the Dungeon Finder. Absolutely died. So they're not doing that with the Classic, it looks like.
I mean,
they may change their mind down the road, but...
I'll buy the cross-server aspect of it. I do. But no one's ever going to convince me that it won't work on a same server environment, because I've seen it work.
No, I wouldn't argue that. I wouldn't.
And I think anybody who claims that it kills socialization, I don't buy that argument at all. I just don't. I will flat out agree to disagree on that, because if the only thing holding you back from being social with someone is a group finder, then you're not really being a social person. Like, it's so easy to open up the chat bar and say, "Hi guys, how you doing? Do you guys have a guild I could join?" I'm totally going to make a video about this and prove my point and show people how easy it is to find good groups and good guilds and good community with these dungeon finders in these other games. The limitation being, of course, cross server. That sucks, because if you do find a good group and they're not on your server and you're already level 40, I don't want to go level up another tune on their server just because they're a good group of people.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pay $20 to transfer my character.
Exactly. Mega servers are the solution to that.
Yes.
But if you have a mega server, I'm sorry guys, but you're gonna have phasing. There's gonna have to be to let the game be stable. So if you don't like phasing, then you can't like mega servers, because that's...
What's the issue people have with phasing?
I'm not 100% sure. I just know that people don't like it. I know it's aggravating when... That's from my personal experience, I just think it's aggravating when the game doesn't recognize I'm in a group, so obviously puts in the same freaking phase. When you don't get to pick... Like, in EverQuest 2, you get to pick, right? Like, 1, 2, 3, you can talk and be like, hey, we're all going to... But in a lot of the phasing games, like Elder Scrolls Online... Which it does a fairly decent job, but like, you'll just be in a group, you'll zone over or whatever, and you're not in the same instance, and it's like not easy to switch. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, most of the time I've seen that it's been really easy to just right-click on someone's name and you can go to their instance.
Right. It's just
So
kind of. I'd say it's a mild inconvenience, but there are problems with it. I just don't know what they are. Something about people swapping to take the names or camp. I really don't know. I've never been that involved, and I've never played a game that had it for long enough to really see the problems with it.
Well, because the only one I can see that people have a legitimate concern about would be, it puts me in a different instance. And I'm like, yeah, but every game that has it allows you to right-click on your friend's name and go to their instance, so that's a non-issue.
That's what I would think. I don't know. I know that there must be a problem because people like Asmongold complain about it. I just don't know what they are. I can see the problem on a PvP server, but on PvE I don't know. I've thought about that long and hard, and I can't figure out what the issue is. Yeah, own server dungeon finder is a totally different. There's a reason why they don't think that would be valid though, and I think it has to do with populations on different servers. They think that the problem is, and this is kind of true, if a system's in a game, people are going to use it. Period. It just is what it is. You can argue, well, you don't have to, but you're going to, right? Like, it just is what it is. Because otherwise, you're at a disadvantage to all the other players, etc. So I think maybe the thought process is that like some of the servers don't do as good, or like say you play Horde on this server, for example, very low population compared to Alliance. It's going to be hard to get. It's going to take way longer for that dungeon finder. I don't know. It seems like it's going to be harder to do things no matter what. If in that situation, so I don't understand, but.
Yeah, I'm. This is why I'm genuinely looking forward to having greater conversations as we wind towards the new show, because I think a lot of the issues that people carry with them are just baggage that they've refused to look. It's going to be good therapy for a lot of people, I think, to get rid of that baggage and shed some of the things that have been holding them back from really enjoying games to their fullest, I think.
Yeah, and I think the quest phasing, that's a different conversation, but that is annoying because, like, we were playing ESO, you know, we were leveling up, so I was, you know, in between streams doing random quests. Well, the quest that we decided was a really cool quest to do for the stream where we did the overworld quest content, I'd already done it just by random chance. It was one of the quests I did, so, like, because of the quest phasing, I literally just had to sit there and wait, like, the whole stream. Because I could, in my phase, the problem was already solved. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't quest with them. They just vanished, and they were in a different phase than me. And there's nothing I could do about it because in my storyline, I'd already resolved that issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, even Lord of the Rings has that problem to a small degree, because my brother and I have done things in the past where I can be on a different phase and you're running through the same zone and he doesn't see the NPCs that I see because I'm further along the quest line than him.
Yep.
It's not, they don't use it very often, but they do occasionally.
The problem with some of the systems, though, in MMOs, a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth from it being crappily implemented, right?
It could be.
Because I know, like, the phasing thing, for example, I can think of, I don't even remember the name of that piece of crap we played. It was one of the Unchained. What was that game? Blessed? It's not, whatever that new one was called.
Bless Unleashed.
Bless Unleashed, thank you. What a piece of crap. That had phasing, and it was awful. Like, dude, we couldn't even figure out how to switch phases, and it would just plop you in random ones. It didn't matter if you're in a group, you know. Gosh, it was awful. But that's bad implementation.
Davin in my YouTube had a really good comment I want to bring up. He says, many of the people that end up leaving and complaining about toxicity in WoW, as an example, are players that didn't have a community to help diffuse their toxic experience. Or that's a very good point. Maybe they didn't have a community to help diffuse that toxic experience. So they went away in a solo environment and went, that thing happened. I don't have anybody to vent to. I don't have anybody to work through this problem with. And now I've gone away, and this thing is going to eat at me like a chip on my shoulder because I didn't have somebody to help diffuse the situation. Or maybe, and this is going to be a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow, maybe they were the ones that instigated or invited the toxicity, which might be the reason more often than not. And that's a good point, because how many times have we talked about the fact that, as an example with kill stealing, well, who really was there first, you know, and who landed the spell first? I mean, there's a 1,000 variables, whether it's lag on someone's machine or things that you don't know that other person even saw you on the screen. Maybe your chat didn't come through. Maybe they didn't have OOC turned on. Maybe they've got shout turned off. Like, there's a million variables that can go into someone doing something that you perceive as offensive or toxic, and it might not have been that way at all, but because you're perceiving it as toxic, you're carrying it with you as though it was toxic behavior, when in reality maybe you're the person who was just inventing the toxicity in the first place. These are
Right.
both brilliant conversation points, I think.
Yeah, and Sparrow has a good point here too, where like people have different opinions based on their own experience, you know, it's- our experiences are wildly different, like we were talking about earlier, just because of the way we are. We don't see the social scene the same way as other people do. I've just never had a problem with social situations. There are people that I don't like to be around, but I just don't go around those particular types of people. You know what I mean? So that's as close as I've ever got to where I can compare. Because there's people out there, and a lot of them, and it's growing rapidly, who just don't like to be social. So they want the game to have systems in place so they can, because they want to be social, they just can't for some reason. And they want those systems to be in place so they can be, and it's built into the game so they don't feel awkward about it. I think is the problem. It's a guy who doesn't have the problem trying to figure out the problem.
I see what you mean, like a tool to help their social skill, a
Yeah.
tool to help make up for their lack
The
of social
anxiety,
skills.
maybe. I don't know. It's hard for me to gauge that because, once again, I can go out and dress like Donnie Doodles and run through my own neighborhood and wave at my neighbors, and I just don't care. If they have a problem, they'll ask me what I was doing. I'll tell them I was making a YouTube video, and it's comedy, and, who cares? And if they don't ask a question, they think I'm a weirdo, who cares? That's funny.